What's up guys, it's Johnny Candido of Candido Training HQ. So you just saw a cool variation on YouTube, perhaps Johnny Candido talking about the high bar constant tension squat, and you think, I want to try that out. The question is, when should you try something out versus when should you keep something simple? Now this is a quick tip video, so this will just be a quick, cut and dry priority. And it's really a spectrum on how to merge this, because a lot of times videos are really disconnected from context. What you want to look at when it comes to variation is look at it inverted from training frequency. So what I mean by this is, obviously if you only squat one time a week, we know you're going to do it competition style, or else you're basically not even a powerlifter at that point. So as you scale up frequency then to 2 times a week, I would say most people still can squat twice a week, just regular low bar, and maybe just have a high rep or mid rep day, something like that. Then as you get to 3 times a week though, in my opinion, that is right where then you can experiment with a variation on one of those slots. So you have a high bar constant tension squat perhaps on one day, then you have a 3x3 low bar primer day, then you have your low bar competition squat primary day itself. So a 2-to-1 ratio, basically 2/3 being competition style, 1/3 being a variation. And that's a way better way of thinking about it rather than just kind of guessing. So if you, for example, wanted to try high bar constant tension squats, a lot of times the best way to do it actually would be to go from squatting twice a week to then 3 times a week, so that then you're not just substituting out higher specificity with lower specificity while already just at 2 times a week, which most people can recover from pretty well. And at that point, you'll probably just see a decrease in transfer realistically in that short to medium term. Now that being said, obviously there are rare circumstances where, because of the periodization or whatever phase of the training year you're in, where it still can be fitting to have, for example, low bar pause squat and then regular low bar squat while being a twice a week squatter. That's actually the first half of the Candido 8-week program on version 2, for example. So if you want to see specific implementations, there's a link in the description to just run my programs directly. But you'll notice on 3 times a week squat, I do tend to have variation be just a little bit more deviant from the competition lift. And then if we scale this to the bench press, for example, when benching 4 to 6 times a week, that's where it's just absolutely critical that you basically make half of the day's variations. Obviously, you could have one day just be machine lifts altogether, but if you do need to touch a barbell, let's say 6 days a week, which is totally doable on the bench press, maybe 2 of those days would be either feet up bench or close grip bench or incline bench, whatever really suits you. And then one day be a tempo bench or a 3-second pause bench as an option that's a really good bridge as well. And then just 3 times that are just the full-on regular bench. So that's very important, because basically nobody is going to benefit, in my opinion, from truly 6 times a week bench press regular competition style. And this is one point where I do, kind of see some of the negative effects sometimes of Olympic weightlifting mindsets when it comes to powerlifting. Is back in the day, a lot of people would run like a Bulgarian program and kind of do it without modifying anything and just 1 rep max on the squat every single time, competition squat. Just push the hell out of it.
The way I fell into daily 1RM training was certainly seeing others do it, and my first thought about this was, this is probably the dumbest idea of all time. And I think if you first think it's either really dumb or you think it's amazing, those are both appropriate responses.
And they wouldn't keep in mind that variation should be a natural reaction to higher frequency. And at the same time, the opposite is true, is that if you are at a lower frequency, or you just have powerlifting as kind of a side thing, and so you're only doing 3 days a week of true powerlifting work, then really don't emphasize variation too much, or else you'll just be spinning your wheels and wasting a lot of time. Because ultimately the biggest upside of training frequency turning up is then you have more time to learn more about yourself. So that is the one thing, again, where you do see a really big downside from not having higher frequency or not having higher variation as your frequency increases, because then you're also just spending a lot of time where you're not learning anything. So that's it. This is just a quick tip on how to integrate, anytime you see a new idea into your actual training. Don't just throw it in willy-nilly. See it as, okay, do I squat 3 to 4 times a week? Okay, now I can do a lot. Do I squat just 1 to 2 times a week? All right, maybe just put it off for now and listen to your coach. But that's it, guys. Make sure to like the video, support the channel, subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys.